Hi. Yep. Yeah. I can't believe it. I'm leaving.
Meu Deus, esse homem é louco da cabeça! Solta, Maria, solta!
Segura, foca, mano, foca, vai ficar bonito!
A young guy was spending the night in an old house beside a dense forest. No neighbors, no streetlights, just trees and darkness. In the middle of the night, he hears something outside. Not loud, just enough to make him step onto the balcony to check. That's when he sees it. Deep in the woods, something white, standing still.
Ini loh saudara nih, awas kalian ini.
Instead of going back inside, he does something strange. He takes the white cloth in his hand and waves it, almost calling it closer. For a second, nothing happens. Then the white shape moves, not walking, not running. It starts hopping toward the house. Slow at first, then faster. Closer. Closer. He's frozen on the balcony. The thing keeps jumping toward him until it reaches the edge of the yard. And when it gets close enough for him to see it clearly, he breaks down crying. Pure panic. He runs inside and slams the door shut. The camera shakes. The outside goes silent again. But here's the question. If it was already coming toward him, why did it stop right at the house? What do you think that white figure really was? A man was exploring an old forest in broad daylight, swinging his metal detector over the soil, searching for relics from centuries past. The sun filtered through the trees, birds chirped. Everything seemed calm, peaceful, until it wasn't. Without warning, something slammed down on him from above. Hard. He yelps, spins around, but there's nothing. No branches, no animals, just empty space. The metal detector slips from his hands. His heart races. His voice echoes as he shouts in panic.
Oi! Oi! Allah biri izledi mi? Ne yaptı amına koyayım? Siktirip kafama atacak amına. Amına. Hey! İnsan var amına koyayım burada ya. Kim o? Biri izledi mi? Ne yaptı beni ya? Ha?
The forest, once peaceful, now feels alive. Every whisper of leaves, every shadow between the trees seems to watch. Something invisible just hit him, and he doesn't know why. If this happened to you in broad daylight, would you dare to stay or run? A young man was driving alone late at night. The streets were empty, the air thick with silence. Everything seemed normal until he saw it. A dark figure, cloaked and hooded, kneeling by the side of the road. At first, it didn't move. Just a shadow blending into the night, barely noticeable, but wrong somehow. Then, without warning, it begins moving toward the car. Fast. Silent. Unnatural. The driver freezes. His heart pounds. Every second stretches like an eternity.
What the freak was that? Oh my god! What the freak was that?
The peaceful night twists into a nightmare. The figure glides closer and closer, its presence heavy, suffocating, like it knows exactly where he is. The fear builds with every heartbeat, every moment filled with dread. He can barely breathe, can barely think. And just when it seems like there's no escape, the figure keeps coming. If something like that was moving toward you in the dark, with no sound, no warning, would you stay or would you run? A young man was exploring an abandoned house late at night. The building had been empty for years, and locals avoided it after dusk. As he points his camera toward a distant window, he sees it a shadowy figure standing completely still. You can just make out the shape of a head, staring from the dark interior, like someone or something is watching. The air grows colder. Every step echoes unnaturally. He moves closer, heart pounding, on trying to capture the figure on camera. But when he gets near, the window is empty. Just darkness. No doors open. No hiding spots. The figure has vanished. Completely.
Guys, ada yang lihat sesuatu nggak ya? Sebentar. Kalian ngelihat sesuatu nggak ya? Tuh. Ya kan? Hilangkan. Astagfirullahaladzim, la haula wala quwata illa billah. La ilaha illallah. Apa ya? Hah? Nggak tahu gak? Apa kak? Apa guys?
Locals say the place is haunted by spirits that only appear from afar, vanishing when approached. The silence presses in. The shadows feel alive. If something was watching you from inside an empty house, would you dare to step closer? Before we go any further, I'd like to ask you for a quick favor. If you are enjoying the video so far, please give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. We're getting closer to 30,000 subscribers, and once we hit that milestone, a few lucky subscribers will receive a special surprise. Now let's go back to the video. A security guard was on a routine shift, monitoring the cameras at his remote post, somewhere in the mysterious Appalachian mountains. The kind of place where the wind whispers through the trees, and shadows move when you're not looking. Everything seemed normal, until the monitor started showing something that didn't belong. At first, it was subtle faint movements in the distance, shapes slipping between the trees. Then, more alarming sounds began echoing across the footage. Low, the guttural noises that didn't match any animal he knew. His heart started racing as the camera captured something or someone watching from the darkness. His dogs, trained to alert him to danger, began growling off-screen, tense and rigid. And just when he thought it was safe, a chilling scream cut through the night. A woman's cry, desperate and raw, bouncing between the mountains, as if something, or someone, was tormenting her. The guard froze, staring at the screens, and in that moment, he realized the cameras weren't just recording. They were watching him too. What would you do if you saw that on your monitor, and knew the thing behind it was still out there? She was hiking alone on a remote trail in Ohio. Just trees, wind, footsteps on gravel. At first, it's only a feeling, that quiet sense you're being watched. Then she notices movement behind her, deep in the tree line. Something tall, bigger than her, and never fully stepping out. You can hear it never fully stepping out. You can hear it in her voice now. The panic. She keeps saying she wants to leave. The faster she walks, the faster it shifts between the trees. Not charging, just tracking.
Yeah. Hi. Hi. Yep. I gotta get down.
I can't go. Please, I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
What is that?
When she finally reaches the edge of the trail, she thinks she's safe. Then she hears it again. Movement. She turns around. It's still there, pacing back and forth in a way that doesn't feel human. Not lost, not random, intentional. She breaks into a run, hoping anyone will pass by. If it followed her all the way out of the woods, was it really trying to stay hidden? What do you think was watching her from the tree line? A man was walking alone in a city park late at night. The streets were quiet. Streetlights cast a dim yellow glow over the empty playground and exercise equipment. Everything seemed calm. Then he notices something strange. One of the exercise machines starts moving on its own. The handles rise and fall, perfectly rhythmic, as if someone invisible is working out. There's no wind strong enough to cause this, no one nearby, just the eerie, repeated motion. The camera zooms in. His breath grows heavier. When he stops a few steps away, the movement pauses. A silence. Then suddenly, the machine jerks faster, almost as if it knows it's being watched. The logic says it could be wind or a loose mechanism, but the timing, the rhythm, it's impossible to ignore. The park feels suddenly alive and very, very watching. If you saw an exercise machine moving by itself in the middle of the night, what would you think was there? Deep in the forests of Sweden, there's a place locals quietly warn you about. They say you shouldn't go there. The trees grow twisted, leaning inward like they're watching. Even in daylight, the forest feels darker than it should. And at night, people claim you can hear whispers, soft, distant murmurs, as if the woods themselves are trying to speak. One evening, a local decided to record his stroll through this very spot. At first, everything seemed normal. The crunch of leaves, the faint wind through branches. Then the audio picked up something else. Low, layered, almost like voices overlapping in the distance. He stopped walking. The whispers didn't. The camera slowly turned toward a cluster of trees, twisted unnaturally together. And for a brief second, something shifted between them. Too tall to be a shadow, too still to be an animal. Then silence, complete silence. So tell me, do you think it was just the wind playing tricks on him, or was the forest actually trying to say something? This wasn't at night. It happened in broad daylight. The train was moving through a quiet railway line, far from any houses. The sun was out. The tracks were clearly visible. Nothing about the scene looked scary. Just metal rails stretching across open land. Then the camera captures it. A human-like shadow slowly crossing the tracks ahead. Not running, not panicking, just calmly walking where there is no crossing at all, in full daylight. The shape looks slightly faded, almost blending into the air around it. And just seconds before the train reaches that exact spot, it vanishes. Here's the part that doesn't sit right. The engineer said he never saw anyone, no person, no movement. Only the camera picked it up. So if this happened in the middle of the day, under clear sunlight, and no one was physically there, then what exactly crossed those tracks? Do you think daylight makes something like that less real or more terrifying? An unusual phenomenon has appeared on Lake Baikal, and it's alarming both locals and scientists. A massive flock of black cormorants nicknamed the Black Plague of Baikal suddenly appeared over the lake. But normally, these birds are seen in small groups, and they're even listed in the Red Book as rare. But this time, there were hundreds, maybe thousands, circling above the water. Their sheer number is worrying because these birds are voracious. They feast on fish, a vital resource for the local economy. Scientists suggest that climate change might be behind this behavior, and disrupting the food chain and forcing the birds into unusually large gatherings. It's a chilling reminder that our world is changing, sometimes in ways we can't immediately control or predict. And it makes you wonder if something as small as a flock of birds can shift so dramatically. What else might the changing climate bring next? A man decided to pull off a risky stunt, grabbing an anaconda by the tail. At first, it seemed harmless. The snake, surprisingly full from a recent meal, didn't react aggressively and slowly swam away.
Meu Deus, esse homem é louco da cabeça! Solta, Maria, solta!
Segura, foca, amor, vai ficar bonito. Foca, amor.
Maria, solta! Chega, Maria!
Segura, rapaz, segura!
Cara, esse homem é louco da cabeça!
But imagine if it hadn't been full. A hungry anaconda could have turned that prank into a nightmare. These colossal snakes are capable of swallowing a human in just a few minutes. And this wasn't just any anaconda. It was a giant green anaconda, a rare and highly evolved predator with incredible strength and instincts. The man got lucky that day, but it's a stark reminder. Some creatures aren't just dangerous, they're perfectly designed to be lethal. If you saw a snake that size in the wild, would you dare to get that close? Central Park isn't the Arctic, but someone forgot to tell him. At first it looks peaceful, a frozen lake, a lone skater gliding across the surface. But this isn't wilderness ice, this is city ice. Underneath, the water moves. Warmer currents, weak spots hiding in plain sight. And those red warning flags? They were there for a reason. At 0:03, he hits a gray patch, just a shade darker than the rest. 1 second he's upright, the next, the surface collapses. No crack, no warning. He doesn't just fall, he vanishes, straight down. That kind of drop means the ice was barely 2 inches thick. Suicidally thin, the water swallows him whole. Then something smart happens.
He just fell through. Oh, snap. Everybody, I'm good, my aircraft is waiting. I'm good. I wish you dumped my gloves before you did. I'm good. Stay calm with me. Hold on. Here, grab the stick. Grab the stick. Grab the stick. Grab it.
A man in a blue shirt doesn't run. He drops flat on his stomach, spreads his weight, slides forward. If he had walked, he'd be under too. They don't grab the victim's hands. They extend a hockey stick. Reach, don't touch. The skater clings to it, shaking as they drag him onto solid ice. But watch closely. The gray zone is still there. Silent. Waiting. If that rescuer had taken one wrong step, would there have been 2 names in the water? What do you think was going through his mind under that ice? It starts calm. The sky hangs low and gray. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. But then, almost without warning, the storm hits. Huge hailstones start falling, bouncing off cars, smashing windows, and denting rooftops. The noise is overwhelming, like the sound of rocks pounding the earth. Every second brings more chaos.
I've never seen that like that.
People rush for shelter, but the wind howls and hail keeps coming. Cars shudder under the relentless impact. Crops and gardens are shredded in minutes. The storm is sudden, violent, and completely unrelenting. It doesn't just move through, it attacks. It finally passes. You realize how fast calm finally passes. You realize how fast calm can turn into total destruction. If you were caught in a storm like this, with hail smashing everything around you, would you stay or run for cover? This scary clip was uploaded on Gritos.nad 2.0's TikTok. One boy and one girl went out camping for the thrill of adventure. Late at night, driven by curiosity and adrenaline, they decided to explore an old graveyard nearby. At first, there was no fear, only excitement, as they slowly walked through the dark, using their flashlights to scan the area. While moving deeper inside, they noticed a small hole in the ground. Curious, they stepped closer. When they shined their light into the hole, that's when they saw it. Inside was a creature with arms and legs, but its body was unnaturally dark and distorted. Its appearance was grotesque and inhuman, and the moment the light touched it, the creature reacted, locking eyes with them in a terrifying, almost intelligent way. It didn't behave like an animal. It felt deliberate, almost demonic. A fear took over instantly. They turned and ran, the girl breaking down in tears as panic set in. During the chaos, the camera slipped from their hands and hit the ground. After that moment, nothing more was recorded. What happened to them next was never confirmed. And the question remains, if that creature was hiding beneath the ground, waiting in silence, how many others have looked into that same hole and never lived to tell the story? A few boys went into the forest to camp during their summer break, expecting a quiet night away from the world. But as darkness fell, the woods felt wrong. Strange noises echoed between the trees, slow, deliberate, and unlike any animal they knew. It was as if the forest itself was alive, holding its breath, waiting. Curious and nervous, they carefully lifted the tent flap to peek outside. That's when they saw it. Something, or someone, was standing just beyond the tree line. Two glowing eyes stared straight at them, reflecting the light faintly.
Ya Allah. Allah. Kemana dia? Kemana dia? Dia jalan.
Its face was pale white, and long, light-colored hair hung motionless around it. The presence didn't move like a normal creature. It radiated something unnatural, something paranormal. Then, just as suddenly, it vanished into the darkness, without a sound, without leaving a trace. The boys were frozen in fear, realizing that whatever it was, it had been watching them. And the question lingers. If it could appear and disappear like that, how long had it been observing them before they even noticed? This terrifying clip was recorded near Chalma, close to an ancient ahuehuete tree, an area long associated with disturbing legends. What makes this video especially terrifying is that the sound never stops. The person filming doesn't wait to see what it is. The moment the crying begins, they run. As the video plays, there's almost nothing visible. Darkness fills the screen, broken only by shaky movement as the camera swings wildly. But the sound is clear. A long, mournful wail echoes through the night, full of pain, sorrow, and desperation. It doesn't sound like an animal, and it doesn't fade away. It follows. The person filming can be heard breathing heavily, panicking, running through the darkness. No figure is visible on camera. No shape can be confirmed. But the crying continues, as if whatever is making that sound is moving too. The fear in their voice feels real, uncontrolled, and instinctive. The video ends without answers. No explanation, no confirmation of what was chasing them. Just darkness, movement, and that terrible lament echoing through the night. Recorded by a husband and wife late at night as they were driving through a remote, dry forest road. The area was completely isolated, with no nearby lights and no other vehicles in sight. At some point, they stopped the car and began filming, though the reason for stopping was never clearly explained. What makes the video unsettling is what you notice after watching closely. In the footage, a person appears to be holding two long objects, swinging them again and again toward someone else. But strangely, the objects never seem to make contact. No matter how many times they swing, the distance never changes, as if something invisible is blocking every blow.
Mira.
No mames,
Mira.
ve.
No mames, ve. ¿Ve eso? Mames, eso está bien cabrón.
No manches, pa. No, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no. Mira. Ay, Dios mío. Dios mío, Dios mío, Dios mío.
No te pases de...
At first, it feels like coincidence or clever editing. But the more you replay the clip, the more uncomfortable it becomes. The movements look unnatural, almost deliberate. Some viewers believe it could be an illusion or a camera trick. Others think something far darker is happening, as if the person isn't attacking a human at all, but something unseen, something not meant to be visible. So the question is, was this just a trick of the camera, or did that couple record an encounter with something beyond our understanding? This scary clip was recorded by a group camping on the far side of a river late at night. As dawn approached, they stood near the water, filming the quiet scene. One of them had brought a laser pointer and began aiming it casually into the sky. That's when they noticed a bright object hovering above, unnaturally still, glowing against the early light. Out of curiosity, the laser was pointed directly at the object. Almost instantly, it reacted. The object burst with an intense flash, releasing a blinding surge of light that filled the frame. The reaction felt immediate and aggressive, nothing like a reflection or aircraft response, more like a warning. In the chaos, the camera slipped from the person's hands and hit the ground. The video captures only darkness after that, along with terrified voices shouting in panic. No follow-up was ever shared, or no confirmation of what happened next. And the question remains, if that light was able to react so violently to a simple laser, were they just campers making a mistake? Or did they provoke something that wasn't meant to be seen at all? This chilling clip was uploaded on Horror Chills' TikTok, recorded deep in the forest late at night, where a small group is filming in near total darkness. One person stands slightly ahead of the others, quietly talking to something hidden among the trees, while the rest remain behind, recording. Their flashlights fall directly on his body, leaving everything beyond him swallowed by blackness. The atmosphere feels tense, as if the forest itself is watching. Suddenly, a pale white figure bursts out from the darkness and grabs him. Within seconds, he's dragged violently into the deeper woods, vanishing between the trees.
I don't know.
I've been face down in a ditch for 2 hours. I was trying to save your buddy, okay? I don't think there's much left I have to prove. Okay, well, if you can come back, that'd be nice. Okay, I don't know where this thing is or when it's gonna. Oh, shit!
There's no clear shape, no face, only frantic movement, and the sound of branches snapping as he's pulled away. His friends immediately scream and run after him, desperate to save him. The footage captures only chaos, shaking lights, panicked breathing, and terrified voices echoing through the forest. But the question is, what was really waiting for them in the dark after midnight? Found deep underground, this clip shows a cave explorer documenting what was supposed to be a routine descent. At first, nothing feels out of place, just tight tunnels, damp air, and the usual discomfort that comes with crawling through narrow passages. But then the camera stops on something strange. Along the cave floor and walls is a thick red mud. Now, it doesn't look like blood. At least, that's what the person filming keeps telling themselves. But it's unsettling enough to raise questions.
Fucking weird noises.
There's no clear evidence that anything has been living down there. No tracks, no remains, no obvious signs of recent activity. Still, the deeper the explorer goes, the more oppressive the cave feels. The silence becomes heavy, broken only by breathing and the scrape of movement against stone. At one point, the filmer even admits how disturbing the experience is, joking nervously that cave explorers must be insane to enjoy this. But beneath the jokes, there's real fear. The camera lingers too long on the darkness ahead, as if something might be staring back. The explorer wonders out loud, half serious, half terrified, whether a ghost, some unknown entity, or even something demonic could be watching from the shadows. And the question is, if nothing was living down there, why did it feel so strongly, like something knew they were there? Captured in a forest near a small town, recorded by a camper's CCTV camera during the night. At first glance, nothing seems out of the ordinary. The camera faces a distant elevated area, and behind it, a steady light glows, possibly from a road, a structure, or something never fully explained. What makes the footage disturbing is how still everything appears. The grass doesn't move. The trees don't sway. There's no wind. Then, suddenly, a shadow appears. It slips between the gaps in the grass, moving across the frame at a distance. The shape doesn't look human, and it doesn't move like an animal either. It's tall, stretched, and unclear, its form impossible to identify. The shadow passes quietly, without sound, without disturbing anything around it. No footsteps, no reaction from the environment. Just a silhouette moving with purpose before disappearing back into the darkness. The camper later stated that no one else was nearby that night. So the question is, if nothing was supposed to be there, and the forest itself didn't react, what exactly passed through the camera's view that night? This chilling clip was uploaded on Polar Driver's TikTok. One person had parked their car to camp along a road near the forest. It was late at night, and the area was completely isolated. Snow covered the ground on all sides, reflecting faint light and making the silence feel even heavier. Everything seemed calm until a terrifying sound broke through the night. From somewhere deep in the darkness, a loud, unnatural howl echoed across the frozen landscape. It didn't sound like any animal they recognized. The tone was deep, stretched, and unsettling, carrying across the snow in a way that made it impossible to judge how far away it really was. Fear set in instantly. Shaken, the person stepped outside the car and started recording. The camera captures only darkness, snow, and the empty road. But the sound is clear. The howls continue, rising and falling, as if something is circling just beyond what the camera can see. No movement appears on screen, yet the presence feels close. The recording ends without answers. No explanation was ever given for the sound, and no source was found the next morning. So the question is, if nothing was visible in the frozen forest, what was powerful enough to make those sounds echo through the night? A group of thrill-seekers ventured into the dense pine barrens of New Jersey, determined to uncover signs of the infamous Jersey Devil. Flashlights cut through the thick forest darkness as they carefully moved along, the shadows around them shifting with every step. The air was heavy, almost as if the woods themselves were holding their breath. They soon stumbled upon a small stone structure, partially open on one side. Torches had been lit both inside and outside, casting flickering light across the walls. Inside, the scene was chilling. Strange objects were arranged with care, and among them lay a human skull, staring blankly into the dim light. The space had an unmistakable aura of ritual, something dark and deliberate, as if unholy ceremonies had been performed there. Fear gripped the group as they realized the forest wasn't empty. Something unseen seemed to watch them, the weight of the legends pressing in. They backed away slowly, hearts pounding, but the memory of what they'd seen would stay with them forever. And the question lingers, if such rituals were meant to summon or honor the Jersey Devil, could it still be hiding nearby, waiting silently in the shadows of the pine barrens? A husband and wife were driving late at night along a quiet, isolated road. There were no streetlights, no other cars, just darkness stretching ahead of them. Everything felt normal until, without warning, something appeared directly in front of the vehicle. For a split second, both of them saw it, and fear hit instantly. Later, when they checked the car's camera footage, what they saw was even more disturbing. The figure on the road looked almost human, but not quite. Its shape resembled a person, standing upright, yet something about it felt wrong. Its movements, its posture, the way it appeared and vanished too quickly. It didn't behave like a normal pedestrian, and there was no sign of anyone else being there. As they searched for answers, they learned something chilling. See, locals claimed that similar incidents had happened on that same road before. Multiple drivers had reported seeing human-like figures appear out of nowhere at night, only to disappear seconds later, leaving no trace behind. So the question is, if it looked like a person but wasn't one, what exactly have drivers been encountering on that road after dark? Known across many Islamic countries, Abu Fanus is a phenomenon whispered about by desert travelers for generations. It appears as a lonely light in the distance, flickering, hovering, almost inviting. In the Arabian Peninsula, people believe this light isn't natural at all, but a jinn. Its purpose is deception. The light draws travelers off their path, leading them deeper into the desert, toward danger, hidden pits, a deadly terrain, or endless wandering that can end in starvation.
هذا الربع ابو فانوس. هذا ابو فانوس. شفتوه اللي الشير هذا ابو فانوس. واضح ابو فانوس. شوفوا الحين يبدا يختفي. شوفوا بدا يكبس. شوفوا يختفي. شفتوا هذا موقع ابو فانوس الحال غير المواقع الاستراحات.
Those unfamiliar with the legend often make a fatal mistake. Lost, exhausted, and desperate for direction, they follow the light, believing it will lead them to safety. Instead, it moves farther away, guiding them into isolation. Ancient Islamic tradition warns of such beings, often referred to as ghouls, evil jinn said to shapeshift and terrify travelers. There is even a hadith that says, "If the ghouls appear to you in a terrifying form, then call the adhan." It's believed that reciting the call to prayer forces these entities to flee, unable to endure its sound. What makes the story even more unsettling is that similar lights have been reported far beyond the Middle East. In places like Texas, people describe Marfa lights, mysterious glowing orbs seen in remote areas, some behaving in ways science still struggles to explain. Different land, different name, but the same eerie behavior. So the question is, are these lights just a natural phenomenon we don't fully understand? Or have travelers across cultures been warning us about the same deceptive presence all along? TikToker malmal.62 went camping in Dry Fork Canyon, deep inside the Ashley National Forest in Utah's Uinta Basin. They grew up around the area and said the basin has always had places that felt off. This campsite was only about 30 miles from Skinwalker Ranch, a location infamous for strange and unexplained reports. Curious about what kind of wildlife might pass through at night, they set up 2 trail cameras near their tent. On the second night, at around 3:50 a.m., the camera closest to them, less than 5 feet away, captured something unexpected. The figure looks almost human, but not quite. According to Mal, no one else was camping nearby. And honestly, if it were a person, they say that might be even more unsettling than anything paranormal. After all, people can be far more dangerous than the unknown. Others disagree. What if it wasn't a person at all? What if it was a skinwalker? Wouldn't that be even worse? To this day, there's no clear explanation for what the camera caught. And that unanswered question is what keeps the story unsettling. In the spring of 2006, campers at Big South Fork in Tennessee were caught off guard by a violent storm that rolled in.
Oh, damn it.
It's happening! It's happening!
Oh, shit!
Holy crap! Holy crap! This is crazy!
A tornado touched down nearby, but thankfully it missed the campsite. The real danger came from the hail. Huge hailstones started crashing down, slamming into tents and the ground. One tent pole snapped, though the main tent somehow stayed standing. Even crazier, the campfire never went out during the storm. When it finally passed, the campsite was covered in massive chunks of hail. Getting hit by one of those could have caused serious injuries. Owen recorded a short video inside her hospital room. At first, the room looked completely normal, dimly lit and quiet. But as she panned the camera toward a corner, she noticed something deeply unsettling. A pale, humanoid-shaped figure seemed to be standing there, completely still.
Ih, apa tuh Bapak jadiin? Apa? Itu nah di pintu.
Kami juga sih punya video. Nah, ini dalam.
Moments later, her friend went to check the corner, and when she filmed the same spot again, the figure was gone. After the video made its way online, some viewers compared the shape to a P.O. Kong, a figure from Indonesian and Malaysian folklore, said to be a human body, tightly wrapped in a burial shroud. To this day, no one has been able to explain what Owen captured on camera. On November 28th, an Instagram user named Rose Honey Morgan was out for what should have been a normal walk with her son and their 2 dogs. The trail was familiar and quiet, until she started noticing strange effigies placed along the path. They weren't random. The figures appeared at multiple points, almost as if they had been deliberately arranged to be found.
I look rough today, and the thing that really pisses me off about my husband is... Hang on. Are you seeing this? Fire, fine, fine, whatever. That's not fine. Oh my fucking god. Oh. Actual. I think the dog's gonna hear something.
Feeling uneasy, Rose recorded and posted a second video. In it, just beyond the tree line, something briefly moves before slipping out of view.
Oh my actual god.
Based on the distance, estimated at 115 feet, some believe whatever it was could have stood around 7.5 feet tall. The discovery sparked theories online, including speculation that the effigies were offerings meant for forest spirits. Whatever their purpose, the experience was enough to keep Rose away for good. She never returned to those woods. It was broad daylight in the woods when a hiker captured something strange on camera. At first, everything looked normal. Trees, sunlight, stillness. Then a shadow moved. Not a cloud. Not a person. Just a shape sliding between the trees, fast and unnatural. His mind told him nothing was there, yet the camera didn't lie. The shadow appeared again, moving this time, as if it knew it was being watched. What was casting that shadow when nothing stood there? Late in the evening, a violent storm rolled in without warning. The wind picked up fast, trees began snapping, and within minutes, everything fell apart. Massive trees crashed down around the campsite, trapping 2 vehicles deep in the woods with no clear way out. With almost no visibility and debris falling everywhere, they stayed inside their cars. One vehicle was badly damaged. The windshield frame was bent, letting rain pour in, and the rear window was shattered, but somehow held together. Cell service was weak, but they managed to reach loved ones and emergency services. Help was on the way, but flooded roads and fallen trees made access impossible. All they could do was wait. Hours passed as they heard distant chainsaws, sirens, and voices, never knowing how close rescue was. The storm would ease briefly, then return just as violently. Fearing the windshield might give out, they moved to the back seats, surrounded by broken glass, debris, and soaked gear. By morning, the storm finally died down. Daylight revealed destruction. The forest looked unrecognizable. Trees were down everywhere, crushing tents, vehicles, and trails. Emergency responders reached them on foot and carefully escorted them out, helping them climb over debris and carry their dogs to safety. They were taken to a temporary shelter where police, medical teams, and the Red Cross provided food, clothing, and care. Investigators later believed a tornado had torn through the area overnight. They lost their vehicles and most of their belongings, but they survived, and that was what mattered. A woman was camping alone in the woods with her dog when she suddenly woke up to something unsettling. They weren't alone. It sounded like a large group of wild animals had surrounded their campsite. Both she and her dog stayed completely still, alert and uneasy, listening to every sound. They waited in silence, not moving, until it finally felt safe enough to leave. A Reddit user shared a story about a camping trip near Glengar around Halloween that took a creepy turn. Not far from his campsite, he stumbled across something unsettling. Small, eerie dolls hanging from a gate, each one tied with a rope around its neck. At first, he tried to make sense of it. Was it some strange art project? A warning meant to scare people off? Or something much darker? Whatever the intention was, the scene gave him a really bad feeling. In the end, he didn't stick around to find out. He packed up his gear and moved to a different campsite. While on a routine camping trip in western Massachusetts, a camper spotted something unusual in the woods. Among the broken branches, he noticed a tall, dark figure, over 7 feet tall, that seemed to blend seamlessly with the trees. From a distance, it was impossible to tell if it was just a large branch or something else entirely. Rather than approaching, he recorded a video and quickly left the area, left wondering, had he just caught a glimpse of Bigfoot? Or was it simply his mind playing tricks with pareidolia? A security guard in Indonesia recently started working night patrols at a rural park after moving to the area. Locals had warned him that the land was rumored to be haunted by a woman in white. Soon, he began hearing screams every night at the same time. Despite searching the area over and over, he never found anyone. Eventually, he set up a night vision camera aimed at the source of the sounds, and what it captured was chilling. A white figure suddenly appeared, and then vanished.
Ini kenapa ya? Buat semua penunggu yang ada di sini, tolong mendekat.
Viewers quickly identified it as a pocong, a well-known figure from Indonesian folklore. Whether the guard continued working there after this encounter remains a mystery. A Reddit user shared that she had been sensing a strange presence in her home for years, something she just couldn't explain. Eventually, she says she managed to capture it on camera. The photo shows a tall, shadowy figure standing near a closet doorway, with what look like faint, glowing eyes. According to her, no one else was supposed to be in the house at the time, and there were no lights or reflections that could easily explain the shape. Even now, she has no idea what appeared in that doorway. Late one night, a man was driving down a quiet road when he approached a bus stop, but instead of seeing people waiting, something was sitting on top of it. The figure didn't look human. It had no wings, no clear features to suggest it was an animal. Its face was completely smooth and blank. No eyes, no nose, no mouth. It just sat there, motionless, as if watching the cars pass by. Maybe it was a doll someone had placed there, or maybe it was something else entirely. Whatever it was, the driver didn't stick around to find out. On a sunny afternoon, two ladies were hiking, relaxed and talking, when they suddenly saw a moose standing ahead of them. The moment froze them both. Its size, the wide antlers, the stillness. None of it matched the calm day they were expecting. For a second, no one moved. What if it charged? What if they startled it without meaning to? Being caught that close, unexpectedly, changed everything. A moose doesn't need to roar to be dangerous. One sudden step, one panicked reaction, and the situation could turn violent in seconds. The shock wasn't just seeing the animal. It was realizing how quickly a peaceful hike could become something much worse. A man was putting up Christmas lights on his house when something strange happened. Out of nowhere, the ladder he was using shifted on its own. Thankfully, he wasn't seriously hurt. He later told his family he thinks an unseen force might have pulled the ladder away from the house. The man has long claimed the home is haunted, though his earlier warnings were dismissed. When he realized a security camera might have caught the incident, he became more convinced. After watching the footage, he says it confirms his suspicion that something inside the house doesn't want him there. While walking the family dog late at night, a father suddenly stopped in his tracks. He said he felt like someone was watching him. His voice shook as he told the story later. And this time, it didn't sound like a joke. He had taken a photo near a quiet playground, hoping to prove nothing was there. But when the picture was seen again, something felt wrong. On the spinning playground toy, there looked like a small shape, almost like a little girl sitting completely still. The park was empty. No kids, no noise, just darkness. The figure didn't look blurry like a shadow. It looked like it was meant to be there. Ever since, the photo has made people uneasy, like it's hiding something that shouldn't exist.
Late one night, the security cameras picked up something strange. A random person was walking slowly through a yard high up in the mountains. This place was far from town, surrounded by dark forests with no neighbors anywhere close. It was completely black outside, and the stranger had no flashlight and no clothes meant for hiking through the woods. That made it even creepier. No one ever comes near this area, especially not at night. The house sits in the middle of nowhere, where only animals are usually seen. Watching the footage later made everyone uneasy. Who would wander through such a lonely place in the dark? And why were they there at all? This video shows a terrifying moment that could have ended very badly. A hiker was walking through the steep and dangerous Fanzangjian mountains when he suddenly slipped. In seconds, he began sliding and tumbling rapidly down the mountainside, completely out of control. Rocks rushed past him, the ground dropped away, and there was nothing he could grab to stop the fall. It looked like he might disappear forever down the mountain. Just when things seemed hopeless, a strong tree stopped him from falling any farther and likely saved his life. The entire heart-pounding moment was recorded on Yang Meng's 360-degree camera. Amazingly, the hiker survived with only a few scrapes and bruises and walked away alive. They live in a house in a busy neighborhood where cars pass and people are always around. Everything feels normal until something strange starts happening. Someone has been sneaking into their yard at night. Right under their window, between a bush and the wall, a hidden sleeping spot was found. There were old blankets spread out on the ground, 2 lonely shoes left behind, and empty food containers with a dirty spoon. It was clear someone had been staying there for a while, watching and resting only a few feet from the front door. No one knows who it is or when they come. The scariest part? Whoever it is sleeps so close that they could hear everything inside the house. The mountains around Bergen, Norway, seem to be singing tonight, and it sounds creepy. Many people think the rocks themselves are humming, like the land is alive. But what's really happening is still spooky. Strong wind rushes past long wires, like power lines, fences, or cables, and makes them shake. When the wind is steady, the wires vibrate just right and create a long, ghostly note, almost like an invisible harp playing in the dark. The sound can feel like it's coming from the whole mountain. Tall cliffs and valleys bounce the noise around, tricking the ears. On calm nights, the note is clear and eerie. When the wind gets wild, the singing suddenly stops, like the mountains decided to be quiet again. He was driving on a quiet road near a tall mountain when everything suddenly changed. Without any warning, the ground shook, and a loud crashing sound filled the air. huge boulder broke loose from the mountain and came tumbling down toward the road. Dust exploded everywhere, making it hard to see. The rock smashed into the ground with a terrifying boom just a short distance from his car. His heart raced as he slammed on the brakes, frozen with fear. For a moment it felt like time stopped. He realized that if the boulder had fallen just a little closer, things could have ended very differently. The mountain that once seemed peaceful now felt dangerous and alive. Late one silent night, a family relaxing inside their home began hearing strange noises coming from outside. Curious but uneasy, they looked toward the trees and froze. Two glowing red eyes were staring straight at the house. Shaken, they grabbed a camera and started recording. What made it even more terrifying was that the eyes never moved or blinked. They didn't look human, and they didn't look like any animal either. The area around the house was completely still. No wind, no insects, no normal nighttime sounds at all. You can hear the fear in the family's voices as they watch, unsure of what they're seeing. After the video was uploaded, the family never shared any updates. To this day, no one knows what was watching them from the darkness. While hiking through a quiet forest, a traveller notices strange rock shapes twisting along the ground. These formations, called stone snakes, look too real to ignore. They curve like living bodies, repeat the same patterns and seem carefully shaped. Scientists say they are made by erosion and minerals over time, just a coincidence of nature, but local stories call them naga, ancient beings turned to stone. The idea becomes unsettling as the rocks seem to follow a path, almost watching. The traveller wonders if nature sometimes starts to make something alive, then stops halfway. Not every stone feels empty or dead. Some look like they remember moving, breathing, and becoming something else long ago beneath the earth's silent, waiting darkness. While hiking deep in the mountains, the man froze. His ears caught something impossible. The faint, cheerful jingle of an ice cream truck drifted through the cold, empty air.
Do you hear it? Ice cream man.
Out here, miles from civilization, the sound made no sense. The melody echoed off the cliffs, turning something once joyful into something deeply unsettling. If that really was an ice cream truck, what on earth was it doing out here? Late one night, a man was working outside his home near the Appalachian Trail, his dog standing close by. Without warning, a chilling sound tore through the silence of the woods, a piercing scream that echoed between the trees.
You alright?
It was high-pitched, desperate, and unmistakably human, like a woman crying out for help. "Are you all right?" the man shouted into the darkness. No response came back. The woods fell silent again, as if nothing had happened. The source of the scream was never found. So what really made that sound? Was it just wildlife or something else lurking in the forest? Reddit user It's Your Girl shared a creepy story. Her aunt discovered a bloody, fleshy object in their neighbour's yard. At first they thought it was just a squashed bug, but when someone suggested it might actually be a human finger, they came back the next day, only to find it gone. No one saw it being taken, and no official report was ever filed. Could an animal have carried it off? With no other evidence, it remains a chilling mystery. But here's the question. Should they have reported it to the authorities anyway? One night, a trail camera set up in their backyard captured something truly chilling. The footage shows a mysterious figure gliding across the yard at midnight, draped in what looks like a long white gown. Their home sits in a remote area, far from neighbours, making the appearance even more unsettling. No one should have been there at that hour, and yet the family watched in shock, hearts racing, as the eerie figure moved silently through their property. Who or what was wandering their yard in the dead of night? While out on a hike, a man noticed a deer peacefully grazing in the woods. Excited, he grabbed his camera and started filming from his car. But when he got home and replayed the footage, he caught something he hadn't noticed before, something both hilarious and deeply unsettling.
But I think I see something looking at me through that window. I might be a little delusional, but I think I see something looking at me through that window.
As another car sped past in the background, a passenger inside was staring directly at him, with a wide, eerie grin. It was probably just someone messing around, but that creepy smile, it's enough to make anyone's skin crawl. A hunter wandered deep into the heart of the forest, far from familiar trails, when he came across a scene that sent a shiver down his spine. The ground was littered with small circular plates, each bearing a carefully handwritten message. Among them lay a tiny, eerily lifelike doll face staring blankly at the sky. The words on the plates were strange, cryptic, and oddly emotional, as if someone had poured their heart into them or perhaps left behind a desperate plea. Was this a final message from a troubled soul, or something far more mysterious? A fragment of an ancient ritual, or a spiritual practice hidden in the woods? The forest seemed to hold its breath, leaving the hunter to wonder what secrets had been whispered here. Natasha from Maryland woke up one morning to find something strange on her window, large paw-like prints pressed against the glass. Odd, since she lived in a busy neighbourhood where wild animals were nearly impossible to encounter. Stepping outside, she saw scratches etched into the concrete by her front door, similar to the marks on the window. Confused and uneasy, she recorded a video hoping someone online could explain what she was seeing.
What are these? Hold on, there's more. Look at these. What the heck happened out here? What is happening outside my house?
Viewers noticed something weird. Some marks had 3 claws, others 4 or 5. Could it really be an animal? Or was someone trying to scare her? A prank? Or had it all been staged from the start? One morning, while hiking in Fiji, a woman heard strange, thunder-like sounds echoing from the sky. There was something unusual about the noise. She'd heard it several times before she even started recording.
Okay, I don't know if my phone will pick this up or not, but I've been outside for like 15 minutes, and the thunder sounds bizarre. What is that? I'm a 7th generation Floridian, and I have never heard thunder like that.
As a 7th generation Fijian, she had never experienced anything like it in all her years. When she shared the video online, it sparked a wave of speculation. Some viewers suggested it could be a rare natural phenomenon, while others thought high-tension power lines nearby might be responsible. To this day, the true source of the mysterious sound remains a mystery. At night, a hiker was hiking through the woods when his camera caught something strange. A light appeared ahead, tall, lantern-like, floating in the air, bouncing slightly as it moved.
Hey, today.
Sini. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.
It didn't belong to any hiker or campfire. Something seemed to control it. The sight was eerie. What could it be? A trick of the trees? A strange phenomenon? Or something supernatural moving with intent? Fear gripped him. What if the light stopped above him? What if it caught fire, ignited the forest, or dropped straight on someone's head? The possibilities raced through his mind. When the camera captured it, it didn't make sense at first. Trees, deep-rooted, heavy, appeared to be moving. Not swaying like normal wind, but shifting slowly, as if something beneath them was pulling. In the middle, several moved together. On the other side, just one tree moved on its own. There was no strong breeze, no storm. What could cause that? Roots tearing underground, an animal pushing from below, or something unseen moving through the forest using the trees as cover. The longer he watched, the more uneasy he felt. Trees aren't supposed to move like that, and whatever was causing it wasn't showing itself yet. A hiker was filming when his camera caught something unsettling. From the darkness ahead, a pair of eyes reflected the light, real eyes, shining back at him. They didn't move, they just stared.
They followed me home from the gifting rock. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning right now. I think I don't know what to do. But they followed me home and it is absolutely staring at me right now.
He froze, unsure if it was an animal, a person, or something else entirely. The way the eyes stayed still felt wrong, like whatever it was had noticed him and decided not to hide. What could it be? A wild animal watching from the shadows? Someone standing silently by the road? His heart raced. What if it suddenly moved? What if it rushed the car? He stayed still, camera shaking, wondering if the leaving was safer, or if whatever was watching was already too close. While hiking, the camera caught something strange. The atmosphere changed. The breeze felt wrong, heavier. Trees began to shake, not violently, but as if something large had just moved through them. The lens slowly lifted. There in the distance was a figure walking upright. Its movement looked almost human, like a woman's stride, but the body was covered in thick black hair. Too tall, too dark, too still to understand. What was it? A trick of light and shadow? An animal moving in a way the mind couldn't place? Or something else entirely, revealed only for a moment when the forest shifted? The camera kept recording, the figure kept walking, and the woods didn't feel empty anymore. The hiker was riding his bike along a narrow trail when something caught his eye, and the camera captured it. Bones, scattered, white against the earth, almost glowing in the fading light.
Kind of creepy. Go this way. This is where most people would turn around. If you turn around, you never get to see what's on the other side. That's where all the gold is waiting over there. Could be missing out what's on the other side.
He froze. Could they be human or animals? A hiker who went missing? A wild animal left to decay? Or something stranger, something unnatural? Every theory made his chest tighten. The forest around him felt heavier, darker, as if holding its breath. Even the wind seemed to whisper warnings. He pedaled on, uneasy, unable to shake the question. What or who had left these bones here, and was it still nearby? At the edge of the farm, farmers spotted something strange, a weird creature, wild and alert, moving silently among the grass. One lucky or unlucky farmer caught a glimpse. The creature crouched, watching, searching for a way to escape. Its body was wild, untamed, but it seemed almost intelligent. A hand-like limb reached forward, testing its surroundings, calculating its next move. What could it be? A wild predator? A dangerous, cunning animal? Or just a frightened creature trying to survive? Every time it appeared, the farmers froze. The question lingered. Is this creature a threat? Or something no one truly understands? The hiker was hiking when he reached a quiet, hilly valley. Below him, water pooled between rocks, still and dark. As he looked down, he froze. In the water, he saw a shape, huge, curved, almost like a dinosaur rising just beneath the surface. His heart jumped. For a moment, it felt alive, watching, breathing. He told himself it was just a reflection, a rock, distorted by light and ripples. But the longer he stared, the more real it felt, as if the water was hiding something old and massive beneath it. What could live in a place like that? Was it only his fear shaping shadows, or had he just glimpsed something meant to stay unseen? On a sunny afternoon, two ladies were hiking, relaxed and talking, when they suddenly saw a moose standing ahead of them. The moment froze them both. Its size, the wide antlers, the stillness. None of it matched the calm day they were expecting. For a second, no one moved. What if it charged? What if they startled it without meaning to? Being caught that close unexpectedly changed everything. A moose doesn't need to roar to be dangerous. One sudden step, one panicked reaction, and the situation could turn violent in seconds. The shock wasn't just seeing the animal, it was realizing how quickly a peaceful hike could become something much worse. During the day, something unbelievable happened. The mountain didn't just sit there, it changed. At first, smoke rose from the ridge, thin and unnatural like the mountain was breathing. Then came the sound. A deep crack. Rocks began to break loose. One after another, they snapped free and rolled down the slope, growing faster, louder and unstoppable. The ridge split in places, sending debris crashing below. Down there, cars were parked, still, unaware. What if the rocks hit them? What if someone was inside? What if the mountain didn't stop breaking? There was no warning, no time to react. Just gravity, chaos, and the terrifying realization that when a mountain decides to move, nothing below is safe. Late at night, a hiker sat inside his car. In the woods it was quiet. Too quiet. As he leaned back, ready to pass out, movement caught his eye. Something crept past the window. Slow, careful, not human. He held his breath. Moments later, it came again, closer this time, sliding through the shadows near the glass as if it knew it was being watched. Its shape was unclear, but its presence felt intentional. What if the hiker hadn't noticed it? What if he unlocked the door? What if the creature wanted inside of the car? Frozen with fear, the hiker realized the worst part wasn't seeing it. It was not knowing whether it had already seen him. A woman was hiking through the forest in broad daylight when she noticed something strange ahead. One tree was shaking, not from the wind, but as if something was gripping it from behind. The rest of the forest was still, too still. She stopped walking. Her curiosity fought with fear. What could cause that? A large animal? A hidden person? Her mind jumped to Bigfoot, though everyone said it didn't exist. Still, the movement felt deliberate, heavy. Then it stopped. She held her breath. If it was nothing, why did it feel like she was being watched? And if it was something alive, why did it stop when she noticed? The family went hiking deep into the woods, where an old lonely house stood half hidden among the trees. While resting, one of them noticed something pass behind a tree and stay and hide behind a tree. The creature was peeping through behind the tree. It was quick, but real.
But I'm telling you, I could have sworn I saw somebody. Oh my goodness. Hey, Zach! I could have sworn. See, Zach! There is some, there. I could have sworn. See, Zach! There is a man over there.
Curiosity took over. He decided to check, Step by step, he moved closer, calling out. No answer. The forest felt too quiet. Then he passed the tree. Nothing was there, but the feeling didn't leave. Something had seen him. Something had moved first. It was broad daylight in the woods when a hiker captured something strange on camera. At first, everything looks normal. Trees, sunlight, stillness. Then a shadow moved. Not a cloud, not a person. Just a shape sliding between the trees, fast and unnatural. His mind told him nothing was there, yet the camera didn't lie. The shadow appeared again, moving this time, as if it knew it was being watched. What was casting that shadow when nothing stood there? And if it had a shadow, what was standing just out of sight? Inside a glass house deep in the woods, someone was filming when the camera caught something unsettling. Outside, among the trees, one trunk stood out. It wasn't just bark and knots, it had a face. Clear, structured, eyes, a nose, the shape of a mouth, like a human frozen inside the wood. At first it felt impossible. Trees don't have faces, but the longer they looked, the more real it became. The expression didn't change, yet it felt aware, as if it was watching back through the glass. Was it just nature playing tricks on the mind? A shadow and texture lining up perfectly? Or something older, something hidden in the forest, choosing to reveal itself for just a moment? Late at night in the woods, the camera was still recording when something huge crossed the frame. It wasn't fast, and it wasn't hiding. A tall, massive shape moved between the trees, blocking out the stars for a moment before disappearing into the darkness. It walked like it knew the path, like it had been there before. Was it Bigfoot? An animal standing too tall? Or something that didn't care about being seen anymore? The forest went silent after that. No wind, no insects, just the feeling that whatever walked past her was still nearby. A man went into the forest to gather mushrooms growing on a fallen tree. The woods were quiet, almost too quiet, as he carefully picked them from the damp bark. Then it happened. A loud, sudden cry echoed through the trees, deep, raw, and unnatural.
And this one. And there's one over here. Looks like it's holding some water. Huh? I think it's time to go.
It didn't sound human. It didn't sound like any animal he knew. The sound froze him in place, his heart pounding as the forest seemed to close in around him. He looked around but saw nothing. No movement. No warning. That was enough. He didn't wait to find out what made that sound. Leaving everything behind, he hurried back the way he came, shaken by one thought. Whatever was out there knew he was there. The camera caught it during heavy wind in the woods. At first it looked like a normal storm, branches swaying, leaves flying. Then one tree began moving differently, not just bending but pulling, as if something was trying to tear it out of the ground. The trunk twisted back and forth, roots straining, resisting. It looked like a fight, the tree holding on, something unseen trying to drag it away. The wind alone couldn't explain it. So what was pulling the tree? And why did it stop the moment the camera shook? The camera caught it by accident. High on the tree trunk, something clung to the bark. Thin, dark, almost like hair, but too still to be wind, too deliberate to be moss. It swayed slightly, as if reacting, as if aware it was being watched. Was it fur, a creature hiding, or something left behind by whatever passed through the woods before the camera arrived? The forest stayed quiet. Too quiet. And whatever it was, never moved again. Deep in the forest, a tree stood alone, its trunk covered in strange holes. Not random, not natural. The holes were deep, deliberate, as if something had carefully dug into the wood from the inside out. No animal tracks, no broken bark, just silence. What kind of creature does that? What lives inside a tree and knows exactly where to dig? The longer it was filmed, the more unsettling it felt, like the tree wasn't abandoned at all, just occupied.
Now, drop a comment with the scariest thing that's ever happened to you outdoors. And if these clips genuinely creeped you out, hit like. Subscribe too, because your story might end up in the next compilation.